Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in for a video today. Now, serious video here. Talking about really the role of a woman in a man's life, because as I'm going through these messages, I had you all email me at inbox@tonygaskins.com. Oh, that's my Nike check falling off. I thought I had a bug on me. And reading these messages, you know, it is hard. It is hard for me. It's hard for me to read these messages that I'm reading, and it just, to be transparent, it feels unfair, because I'm like, here I am sacrificing and doing the right thing and living right, treat my wife like an absolute queen, and it seemed like every other woman is accepting grown boy behavior. I mean, man could talk to you any kind of way, cheat on you, leave you, in and out your life, here and there, on and off, break up to make up. And I'm like, wow. So me doing this work, it kind of like, man, do I need to cheat on my wife to see if we could overcome it? Do I need to get me some cheating in just so I can feel normal? Sometimes I tell my wife, I'm like, baby, let's argue. Let's get in us an argument. We need to argue a little bit just so we could be normal. It just feels awkward. I'm just like, man. But I'm gonna tell you what the reason why it got to this place. Me and my wife, we don't argue, we don't fuss and fight, we don't go to bed mad. We'll have a disagreement, but it's probably about soccer. Some kind of sport, not really nothing about life, or bills or money. People say money is the number one reason for divorce. That's a lie. That's an absolute 100% lie. Money is not a reason you get divorced at all. At all. People use that as a cop-out when they fill out these surveys. Ain't got nothing to do with money. What it has something to do with is cheating. Cheating, number one reason for divorce. And when you cheating, emotionally cheating or physically cheating, then it exacerbates every other aspect in your life. Now money becomes a problem because the cheater needs money for their side relationship, and they trying to save up money because they want a vacation and do what they want to do and buy nice gifts for their person that they cheating with. Now money become an issue because they want to separate accounts, and because they want their paycheck in their account, they want other person's paycheck in their account. Now money become an issue, but money is not the root cause of divorce. It's just no reason for it to be. And so taking somebody who in here, I coach all kind of people who get a divorce, and they never once have somebody said we got a divorce over money. Never once. But yet people try to say that all the time, that's the reason. That ain't the reason. That ain't the reason. It's cheating. All the time. Every woman I coach that's divorced, he was a cheater or abuser. One or the other. It's never because he spent too much money. He didn't spend enough money. He didn't let me have my check. He wanted to keep his check. Never heard that. And yes, you have a person or two out there that they think money is the reason because that's what was told and that's what all the arguments happen, but they don't know they was getting cheated on. So they think it's really money, but don't even realize that the arguments was being started by the cheater, and money was just the disguise. So when you think about this, for a woman in a man's life, your role is the helpmeet, in the sense of you are helping him by holding him accountable. You're not helping him by lying on your back. You're not helping him by allowing him to talk to you any kind of way, allowing him to cheat on you, beat on you, mistreat you, curse you out, call you out of your name. You're not helping him by allowing him to be a grown boy and do whatever he wants to do and run in and out of your life. That's not your role in a man's life. As a woman, when you're dealing with your man, you have to be real with him, be honest with him, be transparent with him, but don't be rude and mean and nasty. Don't do it condescendingly. See, sometimes I notice where a man will give a woman the opportunity to speak into his life, and the woman will take and do so in a way that emasculates the man because she has been feeling worthless or feeling like she doesn't have a voice in the relationship or in the world. See, the world beat up on women and make women work harder, and you got to be twice as good, and just kind of look down on women. Kind of like NBA players making one night what WNBA players make the entire season. And it's because nobody wants to watch women's basketball. When I say nobody, I mean the masses don't want to watch women's basketball. And it's because why? Well, they don't think it's exciting enough because of the athleticism. There's nobody that's really high flying through the air, dunking. There's no alley-oops, so all the acrobatics that goes on in the NBA is none of that in the WNBA. And so the fans are saying, I don't want to look at this. Now, if you like basketball and the science of the sport, then you enjoy women's basketball. I work with women's basketball teams. I enjoy it. But that's what the fans say. So if the fans not watching it, now the women can't be paid because they don't have enough ways to generate revenue. And so now here, imagine dedicating your whole life as a woman to be paid less than a man to do the same thing he's doing. And the only reason why you're not being paid what he's being paid is because the general public are choosing you less than they are choosing him. And why are they choosing him more? For something that you don't control, for something that you have no control over. You can't control how tall you are, how high you can jump, how strong you are, how big your muscles are, if you could dunk or not. You really can't control that. And so now you see women in society and even in the workforce. I saw in the movie set, I saw where they were asked to reshoot a movie and the man was paid $1 million. The lead actor was paid $1 million to reshoot, and the woman was paid $10,000, I think, or something like that, or $100,000 to reshoot. And it came out later, and I think she might have sued or something. But it came out, and it was like, wow, they equal parts in the movie. Her name big like his name, but his agents or whoever they decided to pay him way more money. And so a lot of times as women, I notice y'all start to feel less than. You start to feel belittled. You start to feel like a do-girl, like a floor mat. And then you go into a relationship and it's typically one or the other. You either a floor mat in the relationship, or you come and you try to, just dump all of your stress and pain and frustration onto the man. So some women are either overly aggressive and overly assertive, or docile and weak and being ran over. And that neither one of those will serve you. But you have to get to a place to where you are cool, calm, collected, and confident. And when you are confident, you can stand your ground. You can stand on your own 2 feet. You can hold your own. You can speak your mind, but you can do so from a place of love and strength, not from a place of anger, fear, hate, resentment, bitterness. And you hold this man accountable. And what you have to realize is that you are not his mother. So his mama is the one who bails him out of jail. His mama is the one who lets him keep getting in trouble and keep letting him come live with her. That's not the role of a wife. A wife is an accountability partner. You hold him accountable to the point that says, listen, if you can't do right, if you refuse to do right, then I refuse to be here. And then he makes a choice to step up in your life or to step out of your life. But you don't sit there and coddle him and baby him. And a lot of times women get, training a man, take that too literal and think that you're supposed to be a ride or die woman. No, absolutely not. Because he already knows what to do and what not to do. He already knows when he's in the wrong. He already knows that. So as a woman, you're supposed to hold him accountable. And you can do so without having to yell, scream, curse, fuss, fight. You don't have to bleach his clothes. You shouldn't be tapping a man's phone, bleaching clothes, cutting up his shoes, cutting up his interior of his car, busting his windows out, going to his job, stalking him, fighting other women, fighting his baby mama, fighting his ex-girlfriend, fighting his work girlfriend. None of that should ever come into a relationship. Because if a man won't do right, you as a woman have to remove yourself from that situation. And what you have to realize is every man is going to make some kind of mistake that make you kind of hit pause, and you have to check him. And then once you check him, and when I say check him, I mean cool, calm, and confident and collected. You're not screaming, going off, cursing him out. You have a conversation with him on the phone, in person, and you let him know this is 100% absolutely unacceptable. And I refuse to be in a relationship where this is present. And if this cannot change, then our relationship status will change. Point blank period. Ain't no yelling, ain't no cursing, ain't none of that. None of that. Because when you yell at a man, you give him your power. Because from your girth coming up in you, welling up in your stomach, coming through your chest, saying it from your diaphragm, coming out of you, all that yelling, all that energy, all that power. When you yell at a man, you give him your power. See, actions speak louder than words. You don't have to raise your voice. You don't have to raise your voice, because actually when you raise your voice, he shuts down. When you raise your voice, his mind can't even hear you. When you boo-hoo crying, screaming, yelling, cursing, he can't hear a word you saying. You just sound like a bunch of noise. That's not communication. But when you sit down and you cool, calm, and collected and confident, and you look him in his eyes and you speak to him in your room tone voice, hey, listen, this is what I'm seeing happening or sensing is happening. It's absolutely a no-go. And I refuse to be with you if that's what you're going to be doing. Now, I know you've dealt with some women who you could get away with whatever you want to get away with. And maybe you don't care about love, or you don't care about other people's heart. But one thing I can assure you is you won't break mine. You will not break me, because you did not make me. And if this is what you want to do, let me know right now, like a man. Otherwise, you're going to find out the hard way that I'm not to be played with. Just like that right there. That's how Liam Neeson told that man in the movie Taken. You don't know me, but I will find you and I will kill you. Good luck. Now see, somebody like me who soft, who really a shooter and really ain't no fighter, somebody like me, I'd have been on the phone. Listen to me. You better bring my daughter back, because you don't want to see me. Hey, I'm connected in every area code. I'm coming for you. That man would have said, good luck. I'd have been like, dang. He ain't fall for it. Man, I can't go over there. I'm not finna go over there looking for these people. Dang. But I just gotta sit here and cry about my daughter. See, when you faking, you loud. You loud. You screaming, yelling. That's why it's called toxic relationships. Because you faking. So y'all go into yelling, screaming, fussing, fighting, breaking windows and all that because you soft. You soft, you scared, and you don't know your worth. When you know your worth, you ain't got to pump fake. You ain't got to bluff. You ain't got to grandiose, perpetrate, proselytize. You ain't got to do none of that. You just speak with a tone of confidence. Listen to me. This is not what you want. And guess what? We all respect what it when you really mean something. Now see, when you faking, you funky, oh, you yelling and screaming. I was talking to a financial advisor last week or the week before. I said, well, if my money come up missing, I got to do life in prison. He said, are you telling me that if I stole your money, you'll kill me? Yeah, that's what I was saying. Oh, wow, I would never do that. But he heard me, though. He heard me. He said, you know what? I know it's probably a good chance you probably not going to be working with me. Because I let him know. I said, listen, bro. This right here, this about my family. I take care of my family. You'll come up missing. Now, see, I meant that now. I meant that. We ain't going to court. We don't go to court. We go to graveyard. And so somebody know when you serious. So when you dealing with a man as a woman, he know when you serious. He knows when you're serious. He knows when you're bluffing. Because see, women who serious, and this is what a lot of times women don't understand about men. Men deal with so many women over the course of our lifetime. By the time I got with my wife, I had already dealt with over 100 women. That's a lot of relationships. That's a lot of situationships. That's a lot of experience. My wife stood on her own 2 feet and she was in her own lane. She was the only woman that I had ever dealt with that had the demeanor that she has. So I knew she was serious. I still had to test. I still had to try to see. Because I ain't know if this just was a new kind of bluff. Oh, no, it was real. It was real. I said, whoa, okay, wow. This woman here do not play. It wasn't when she said she mean it. In 13 years of marriage, been together, been knowing her for 15 years. October 2020 made 15 years. October 29th is when I officially kind of counted us as serious. So that means I probably met her beginning of October, or maybe I met her in September. But in this 15 years I've been knowing her, she has never raised her voice at me. She has never cursed at me. She's had reason to and opportunity to. She broke up with me in dating, and she left me for 3 days in marriage. In both of those moments, she could have cussed me out. She could have raised her voice. She didn't. That's how I knew she was serious. That's how I knew she was serious. You remember they say the loudest one in the room is the weakest one in the room? I see so many women that's so loud in the relationship. They got so much to say. They doing so much cussing. They talking so tough. But then they baby mama number 3, baby mama number 4, baby mama number 5 or 6. Then they have 2, 3 of his kids. So tough, so loud, got all the cuss words, know all the cuss words front and back, know how to say it forward and backward, know all the slogans, know how to read a man from head to toe, but still washing his dirty drawers with stuff in it from another woman. He doesn't believe you. And because he doesn't believe you, meaning that bluffing you doing, he doesn't respect you. And because he doesn't respect you, he can't trust you. And because he can't trust you, he can't love you. So now in his life, you are a placeholder. You just convenient. You are a do-girl. You a maid. You a concubine. And he just using you for what's between your legs. He using you just for your feminine energy. He using you for hot meals, hot sex. That's what he using you for. He does not want you because he does not respect you. Because you keep letting him do what he want to do. This your third time catching him cheating. This your third time asking him to stop cursing you out. This your third time asking him stop telling all his homeboys and his mama and them are all your business. This your third time telling him stop staying out all night. Your third time asking him to please stop putting hands on you. So he does not believe you because all you doing is talking, but you're not taking action. You ain't leaving. And then you leave, but then you come back. And then you together for a little while, then you leave again, but then you come back. You together for a little while, you leave again, then you come back. Listen, a woman's role in a man's life is a catalyst, is an accountability partner. You are a mentor, a life coach, a therapist, but with tough love. You're not his mom. You're not his probation officer. You're not his school teacher. See, his mama, he come out of her. She can't ever turn her back on him. She wired to never turn her back on him. If she's sane and she not on drugs or what have you, she wired to never turn her back on him regardless of what he does. You're not his probation officer that he got to be checking in with you. You got to be administering his drug test, and you got to be watching over him, checking to see where he at 10:30 to make sure where he's supposed to be on curfew. You're not his probation officer. You're not his school teacher. No child left behind. For one, he's not a child. So that teacher, she got an oath. She got a creed. No child left behind. I know he bad. I know he get in trouble. I know he class clown, but I got to reach this boy. I got to teach this boy. I cannot leave this boy behind. He got to get to that next grade. It's on me. You're not a school teacher. Listen, no child left behind. You can leave a grown man behind. Got to leave. Got to go. Got to go. Ain't got the time. You see what I mean? And when you do that, see, a man always gonna test the waters. He always gonna test the waters. That's why, you know, we lose sometimes. We lose men and women too to stuff that they knew that they didn't know how to do before they went to do it. But the man wanted to try it. And he lost a limb. And unfortunately, some people lose their life. It's men trying stuff. Men always gonna try stuff. Always gonna try stuff. And a man gonna try you. He's going to try you just to see what you buy. So what you have to count on in almost every relationship is that you're gonna have to leave that man at least once. But that one time need to be the last time. That one time you leave him gonna need to be the last time. If you have to leave him again, it better not be for the same situation. If you have to leave a man twice, break up with him or take a break for the same offense, you're wasting your time. You're wasting your time. Some men don't know how to love. Some men don't know how to be in a relationship. Some men don't know what's acceptable because of what they've seen. So like when I was dating my wife, I was trying to be controlling. And she took a break she said, we need to take a break. Really, that mean we done. She left me. She didn't call me a week later, or 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, or 4 weeks later, or 5 weeks later, or 6 weeks later. It was 6 months later that we just so happened to cross paths again. She did not text me a single time. She did not IM me a single time. She did not call me a single time. I was shocked and appalled. I was blowed. I will blow. I'm like, what? You finna let me get away? You finna run me off? Cause I was trying to be controlling? Girl, you better be glad I'm trying to control you. That's how I was. I was young. I was 21. Don't pay me no mind. Don't try to compare me to your 40-year-old man. I was young and dumb. I was 21 years old. And so she left me for trying to be controlling, asking questions. Where you at? What you doing? Who you with? Who you around? Let me hear their voice. Tell me the truth. Who you with? Asking all them questions. That's what I mean by controlling. Then, and because I was acting like that, it made her ex-boyfriend look appetizing. Because like she hadn't left that relationship because he was a grown boy. But then when I show up to be a grown boy, it's like, okay, be with a grown boy that I done already been with for a year, or be with a grown boy that I just met a month ago who already showing signs of craziness a month in. You see what I mean? So she went back, I think, but when I bumped into her 6 months later, she said that only lasted like another 2 months, and then she was done for good. And I was like, oh wow. And so y'all were done after 2 months. It's been 6 months. So what happened in them other 4 months? Why I ain't get no call in them other 4 months? That's what I'm thinking in my head. Like, girl, you weren't missing me? You weren't desperate to get back to me? Like, why you ain't call and say, hey, how are you? She was going about her business. That made me respect her. She treated me like an option. I was like, wow. So when I got her back now, truth be told, I wanted to give me some get back. I wanted to try to, sting a little bit. I wanted to feel a little something now. And because my feelings was hurt. Like, what? You got, what? I'm an option. She didn't say that, but that's what I felt like. So we got married 10 months later. And when I went back to the street, she had to leave me again. So see, this is where I learned something about being a man. I knew not to try her again with the controlling behavior. I knew not to come that way. Anything that's controlling or abusive, I knew not to do that. But going back on my word as far as my integrity and me going back to the street life, selling drugs, when I said that I was done, I didn't know that would be a leavable offense. I'm thinking in my head, she's going to be like, well, we do have a son that just came into the world. He's in the intensive care unit. It's going to get expensive for his meds and his treatments, being that he's 2.5 months early. You only make $8.50 an hour on your job, or $9.50 an hour on your job. I can't work. I'm speaking for her. I can't work because I need to be at the hospital every day with our son, and I'm on maternity leave. So I'm thinking that's what she gonna say. So it's only a little bit of weed. Go ahead and sell it. It's almost legal. It's, if you get caught with it, if it's under 20 grams, you're not going to jail. Just to be a little, citation. They'll see it as personal use. So it's not the end of the world. It's all right. I understand these circumstances. That's what I thought I was going to get. Did not get that. She told me, listen, I told you when we were dating that you had to get out of the streets, and that I refused to be with a man who's going to be living this lifestyle that you're trying to live. That's not you. You're not a thug. You're not a dope boy. That is not you. That's what she told me. Just like that. She did not yell. She did not curse. Now see, at the same time now, you have some women who they will scream and yell. They will throw his drugs out the window or flush them down the toilet. They'll slap him in the face. I told you not to do that. They'll punch him in the chest. They'll push him. You have women who they'll act out like that, but then still be there. Just lay on the pillow and cry. And cry. He just like, he don't respect you. Cause you just did all that. You got all your licks in. You swore you would tear him up. He ain't hardly feel that. And then now you in the bed crying. Then he come over there an hour later, ready to work his tongue. So now he over there working his tongue. And you over there crying. Between tears, you getting your feel. And so now here he right back in the game. So you mad about it, you don't like it, but you okay it. You let it go. So now you living with a dope boy or a scammer or a thief or a jack boy, whatever it is, and you got this man, or you living with a drunkard who like to get drunk, or a pothead who like to smoke all the time, too much, smoking weed, or he's a gambler, he lazy. It's something that you settling for with this man. And when you settling for that, you reinforce that behavior. And when you reinforce that behavior, you tell him this is okay. And that I love you and I'm going to be here for you regardless of what you do. And so be less than your best. And I'm going to be here in your corner. That's what you're saying without them words coming out your mouth. So now he like, oh, wow. Okay, so she's still here. All right, this is interesting. So guess what? He never grows. And then you look up 3 years, 4 years, 5 years later, 6 years, 7 years, 10 years, 15 years later, and you like, I'm still not happy. I'm still not happy. Like, we still not where we should be as a relationship, as a couple. Like, we both should be earning good money, traveling the world and on our vacation, like laughing, smiling, having a great time. But you looking at your situation and you like, we still knock down, drag out, fighting. We still cursing each other out every month. We still fussing and fighting and arguing. We still break up to make up after all these years. After all these years, we still don't see eye to eye. I'm still confused and lost with mixed signals, not knowing whether I'm going or coming and what's real or fake. And it's because you forgot your role in a man's life. And it's not to coddle him, to baby him, to reinforce grown boy negative behavior. That's not your role. Your role is to speak truth to power from love, with love. Your role is to be strong, to be confident, and to be ready and willing to walk away. When he exhibits a behavior that is a deal breaker, you got to be ready to walk away. If you're not ready to walk away, then you're going to lose yourself in that relationship, and he's never going to find himself because he already was lost and you reinforce his lostness. So now he's going to stay lost, and then guess what? You following him. So now it's the blind leading the blind, and it's the blind following the blind. So he about to lead you into a ditch. He taking you to a dead end cliff, and y'all about to walk off the edge. Because you done cut off your senses. You done talk yourself out your common sense, and now you following him. But see, guess what? Let me help you understand something. Let me help you understand something. I'm gonna start going to bed early now. I've been up late. I be dealing with people problems all day. So at nighttime when everybody go to sleep, I'm laying up watching YouTube videos. Last 2 nights I was watching fart pranks, and boy, them things know it be funny. Give me a good old laugh. I'm laughing so hard I was crying. I'm literally watching fart pranks. You know, they got the little fart spray and they spray it in the car and with their granddaddy or their grandmama or something like that, or their daddy or their mama, and they going crazy. Thing was so funny. And so anyways, I've been up a little too late. So I got to talk slow on this one. Got to relax. I got to sit back in my chair because I'm a little tired right now. I need a nap. But let me tell you something. Lady asked me this question the other day. So Tony, you trying to say that if your wife had not stopped you from being controlling when you were dating, that you physically would have put hands on her? That's eventually what it would have led to. It's like, you shocked and appalled? Like, have you been in a relationship? Do you look around and see relationships? This happening every 9 seconds. A woman is having hands put on her by a man. Like, that is a thing that happens. Like, yeah, if you let a man talk down to you, control you, it's only so long that it's going to remain verbal. It's going to go from verbal to emotional to physical. And the verbal and the emotional will have you feeling like taking yourself out, or it may have you feel like taking him out. The physical from him can take you out physically. And so thought I heard a noise. Y'all forgive me. Thought I heard a noise. Nah, I need to be sitting here. I don't think about to rob me in the middle of the day. Y'all wouldn't even know it because the video wouldn't get uploaded because this ain't live. They'll be done got my phone and deleted it. So, yeah, that's where it would have went. God forbid, that's where it would have went. I had already lived through that. So I already knew. I was trying to bring the same energy from my last toxic relationship. That's where it goes when you're not willing as a woman to walk away. When a man shows you that he's immature and you stay and you reinforce it, you got to be willing to go. You got to be willing to go quick. It ain't no, I'm going to forgive it this time. Oh, I'm going to forgive it this time. Oh, I'm going to forgive it this time. No, that's reinforcing the behavior. When he see you drop him like a hat, boom, you'll drop him like a bad habit. He like, whoa, all right, whoa, please come back. Let me do the right thing. So now, when we got married, this was a year and a half apart. So this what happens a lot of times too. A man will try you and you'll leave him. And he wake up and he realize, whoa, okay, this one here ain't to be played with. You give him another chance because you say, well, what he did the first time was not like that bad. But I wanted to send a message and let him know I'm about that life and that I'm not to be played with. That's what you're saying to yourself. So you give him another chance. Because what he did the first time, it was like a deal breaker, but it was minimal. Like literally, I asked my wife some intrusive questions on the phone. Where you at? Who you with? What you doing? Let me hear that voice. I don't believe. And she cut me off. I think we need to take a break. That's what she told me. And so, in that right there, 18 months later, we married now. We 2-3 months into the marriage. When I went back to the streets, being that she had already told me that I had to leave the streets, when I went back to the streets, and when I went back, I was tiptoeing. Get me about 7 grams. I can remember. Maybe I had 14, half ounce. And I said, tiptoe back in here. Feel this out. See how she gonna respond to this. Had she cried and stayed, she cried now because she was angry. She was upset. She couldn't believe that she was up the creek without a paddle. But then she hopped right on out my canoe. I ain't had no yacht. I had a canoe. This metaphorical now. So I'm like, she jumped into the water out of your canoe? This metaphorical. Okay. So she realized she up the creek without a paddle, but then, whoop, I know how to swim. She jumped right on out my little canoe. My little 1-seat kayak. She hopped right on out. Had she stayed, when I went back to the streets, guess what? After that half an ounce, I would have went back and got me an ounce. After that ounce, I would have went back and got me 2 ounces. Then I would have got me a quarter of a pound. Then I would have got me a pound. Then I would have got me 2 pounds, 4 pounds, 8 pounds, 16 pounds. You see what I'm saying? I'd have kept building up. Till I got me a whole kilo. And now, I'd have been full-fledged in there. I'd have got my gun back. And I'd have been just hustling. Then I would have went from Florida and started back crossing state lines like I was doing when I was in college. I would have started moving across state lines. Then I would have started going to different cities, different states, and spending a week in that city, making a connection, letting them know I got it lower than what they getting it for. And now, got me a trucker, got somebody that got a van, and they making runs, cross state lines for me. Then I would have been flooding Atlanta, flooding Houston, flooding every state around here. And the next thing you know, I'd have been freeway Ricky Ross. And my wife been sitting over there. And then eventually, I would have either got arrested by the feds and been in the feds doing 60 years, 10 years, 20 years. And it would only took me 3 or 4 years to get to that point. So my son would have been 3, 4 years old and his daddy going up the road. Or I would have got my life taken. Or I would have taken somebody else's life and got caught for it or got away with it and took enough lives until somebody come take my life. That's what would have happened. I see it plain as day. I already know what would have happened because I done seen it happen all around me with my homeboys. When either they mama, if they ain't have a girlfriend, they mama was reinforcing their behavior. Or their girlfriend or their wife was reinforcing their behavior. And it just keep going. Keep going until have a run-in with Jesus. Have a crossroads meeting to where a fork in the road. To where it's like prison, death, or change. Some people have the grace to change. Some people don't. So listen. I'm here today because my wife refused to accept the behavior that I wanted to operate in. She refused to accept it. And there was a man inside of me that said, I want to be married and I want to be in my child's life. Had she been okay with me being married to her and being in my son's life as a dope boy, then I would have remained a dope boy until consequences forced me to change. If I would have been granted that much grace. But because she said no to that and she left. When she left, I could not reach her for 3 days. So I thought we were done for good. But she decided to give me another chance. And it was God ordained because look at what I'm doing today. So you can't you can't compare your situation to my situation because directly you got to hear what God is telling you in your situation, because your situation may be to leave and don't look back. Because you could go back, but that don't mean your man gonna become the man that I became. That don't mean that. So you got to listen to what God telling you, not just what Cherie Gaskins did. Because if you're not with a man that has integrity inside of him that's waiting to come out, then your results going to be different. A lot of times women go back to a man and he dogs her out worse when she come back because he angry because she left the first time. So you got to listen to what God is telling you in your spirit, not what your desperation saying, not what your little thing saying, not because he good down there. You can't listen to nothing else but what God telling you. Do you know this is a man of integrity? Do you know this man has exponential abilities and talents? Do you believe this man can change the world? He can impact a lot of lives. He can change his life, change the lives of others. He could be successful. He could be somebody. Do you truly, honestly know and believe that with a real spiritual conviction that it feels like God is saying, give this another chance? Or is your desperation, your frustration, your embarrassment, or your loneliness so loud that you can't even hear the voice of God? That's something you got to come to terms with. And so my wife coming back, she took a gamble. But before she left, she went and talked to a pastor. She had a Bible. I'm guessing they read the Bible. They prayed. Because she came back. I could tell she had been crying. But she didn't let me see her cry. She didn't cry in front of me. She didn't yell. She didn't curse. She didn't cry. What I saw was strength. I saw confidence. I saw poise. I saw resilience. I saw that with or without me, she's going to be just fine. That's what I saw. And that made me respect her, and I didn't want to let that kind of woman get away. Because truthfully, I wanted a woman. Every man wants a woman that's going to push him to the next level. A man a lot of times resents you. You ever see when a man end up leaving you? Y'all break up and he'll send you text messages or mean stuff, like he being rude and nasty and mean. He actually resents you because you reinforced his grown boy behavior. Like, you respecting yourself and loving yourself will make him respect you, even if he act out from that still. But you reinforcing a man make him like you less. You reinforcing his negative behavior, it makes him like you less. What make a man really respect you is when you can stand on your own 2 feet, calm and confident. Not boohoo crying and snotting all out the nose and all of that. No. When you know who you are. And a lot of women say, well, if I leave him, he gonna resent me. No, he's not. He's gonna respect you. He's gonna respect you if he got a man inside of him. If you give him another chance because you feel in your spirit, you should give him another chance because, it wasn't that bad. Or that you can wade those waters, you can get through it. And then you find out he does resent you, it's gonna surface, it's gonna show rather soon, rather quickly. Then at that time, you leave him for good and you never look back. If you come back a third time, fourth time, fifth time, sister, I hate to tell you, sister, you wasting your time. You wasting your time. And every time you come back, he loves you less and he respects you less. Now you're a floor mat. Now you're a do girl. Now he gonna use you like a supply. Because that's all you have shown him that you are to him, is a supply for him to use up. For him to break you, battle you, and take advantage of you, mistreat you, for you to cry, beg, plead, and stay. He does not respect that. He does not respect that, and he will not grow for that. When a man decides to grow, it's because his woman refused to put up with him being less than who he was called to be. And that's when he says, okay, now this is the fork in the road where I got to make a decision. Do I man up and step fully into my purpose and who I'm called to be so that I could keep this very valuable, rare, beautiful, amazing, cherishable woman, coveted woman? Or do I remain a grown boy and watch her walk away and attract a man that's going to love her like no other man? And see, that's a choice he has to make. Some men too young to make the right choice, or they're too immature. Some men could be older and immature. So I don't know who my wife was before I met her. She could have been ratchet. She could have been ghetto. I don't know. But I know what God pulled out of her when I met her. And so who I was before her, a nightmare, a terror. You hear me? I was out there. But who I became with her and for her, because of the God in her, spoke to the God in me, and he said, this is meant to be. This who can keep you, this who can hold you accountable, this is your help me. Because this one right here, she done seen some things, she done gone through some things. She fed up now. Now her backbone in place. And you need a woman. God knew I needed a woman with a backbone. Meaning I needed a woman that will show me her back walking out the door. God knew I would not respect a woman that's a ride or die while I'm in the streets hustling and dogging her out and cheating on her. I had already had that. Every relationship before my wife. God knew I needed a woman who will walk away if she's not being treated like a queen. And so that's who I was introduced to. And although we was living in sin, God still was in the background, in the midst, had a hedge of protection over us. And we paid for our sin. We suffered for our sin because we knew better. See, a lot of times people, wonder about that. Well, Tony, how y'all was in fornication and you preach abstinence? That's why I preach abstinence. Because I was in fornication and I know the repercussions of knowing right from wrong and choosing to do wrong. Well, we paid prices. We paid price. Ooh, we paid the price. We paid the price. We paid the price. And our first son had to pay a price due to us. I believe it was our sin. I believe it was like Abraham and Sarah. I know our son gonna be blessed, but we had to fight. We had to go through. We had a lot of painful nights seeing him in pain. And I attributed that to the sin that we was in. The sins of a father. I attributed that to that. And our second son, we living right, doing right. He didn't have any complications. Now they both blessed. And our oldest son coming through, doing amazing. Both of them blessed. But I always attribute what the pain we had to endure with our first son being conceived out of wedlock as payment for our sins. And that God said, I got you and I love you, but I chastise those I love. And we suffered. We struggled financially, emotionally, mentally, socially, familiarly. We struggled. We suffered for years. And then we got it right. We started living right, sowing different seeds. Now, life is blessed beyond measure. Life blessed beyond measure. And if we step out of line and our focus is taken off of God and it's put on other things, material things or worldly stuff, God will snap us right back. Snap us right back. And so because of my wife being okay walking away, that taught me to stand tall as a man and be a real man. If you ain't read my book, A Woman's Influence, commercial break. If you ain't read A Woman's Influence, make sure you get this book today or when you get paid. Make sure you get this book. It's gonna bless you. It's gonna bless you. You're gonna get something out of here now. You're gonna get something out of here. And we working on a movie for A Woman's Influence because I own the film rights. So we working on the movie, and I done found a director out of Louisiana, and Aaron, I think his name Aaron Williams, and he done some movies. So we working on that. Make sure you get the book. So now the book is not like a story like a movie. It's teaching in here, but we're gonna tell our story that the lessons come from in the movie. And I don't know if I'm gonna put the movie in theater next year, like put it in limited release, independent theater release, or if I'm gonna premiere it on YouTube. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see. But hey, thank you. Now listen back to this. Stop being a floor mat. Stop being a lint between his toes. Stop being bubble gum under his shoe. Stop reinforcing his negative grown boy behavior. Stop being afraid to lead. Stop being afraid to stand up for yourself. Speak your mind. Cool, calm, and collected, and confident. And then make a move if you got to make a move. Understand what I'm here to tell you. Hey, God bless you. This Tony Gasson. We'll talk soon.